because I know that Rowan, there's Rowan, look over there. I know that Rowan likes turtles. Anybody else like turtles? Ever, can anyone tell me anything about what a turtle shell looks like?
Very interesting patterns and shapes.
Do you ever wonder about where that pattern came from?
Sometimes.
Because once upon a time, what have you got to say about turtles?
Turtle shells are made out of the same material as your fingernails.
Yeah, well done. Once upon a time, turtle shells were smooth like your fingernail. They didn't have those cracks in. I'm going to tell you why. Because once upon a time, a long time ago, just at a time of the year when the leaves were beginning to fall and the weather was beginning to turn cold, little turtle, noticed that it was quiet in the world. Too quiet, thought Turtle. Something's going on. Little Turtle thought to himself, all the animals are planning to do something and they're leaving me out. So I'm going to go find what the animals are up to. So Little Turtle walked through the forest to see what was going on. And he came to a clearing in the forest where all the trees, instead of looking like fall, all the trees looked like it was spring. Because they were full of all the birds. All the birds were perched on the branches with all their different coloured feathers, and they were chatting to each other and chatting and chatting and chatting. They were chatting so hard, fly away to the war, we fly away to summer. And it's going to be so good, there's so much food there. And everything's good and everything's warm, and summer will welcome us. And it's time we went, and let's all get together, and let's all spread our wings, and let's all fly away to summer. And Turtle looked up and he said, hey! Hey, he said, what about me? You can't leave me behind. And all the birds looked down and said, Turtle, you can't come with us. Turtle said, why? Why can't I come? I want to come. Why can't I come? Let me come. I can come. You can't stop me coming. And they said, Turtle, you can't come. You're a turtle. Only birds go to summer. And Turtle said, that's not fair. You can't stop me coming just because I'm a turtle. You shouldn't stop people from doing things just because they're different. Just because I'm a turtle, that doesn't mean I can't come. Let me come, I want to come. I'm a turtle and I want to come south to summer just like you. The bird said, Turtle, 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 you can't fly. When we go south, we fly. And you're a turtle, you can't fly. And Turtle said, well, teach me to fly. I'm a good learner, teach me to fly. Why don't you teach me to fly? You could teach me and then I could come south with you and then you wouldn't have to stop me from coming because I'm different, because I'm a turtle. Teach me to fly. Come on, teach me, please teach me to fly and then I'll come with you. And the bird said, Turtle, before we do anything else, just answer one question. And Turtle said, I'll answer any question at all. I can answer questions. Don't think I can't answer questions just because I'm a turtle. I can answer any question you want. You ask me a question and I'll answer it. And the bird said, Turtle, do you ever shut your mouth? Turtle said, of course I shut my mouth. If I want to shut my mouth, I'll shut my mouth. I can shut my mouth as tight as anybody. I can shut my mouth tighter than anybody. If I want to shut my mouth, I'll shut my mouth. It's just that right now, I don't want to shut my mouth. But if I did, I could shut my mouth and no one will be able to open it. And the bird said, Turtle, did you ever shut your mouth around something? And Turtle said, yes, of course I did. Of course I did. I shut my mouth around my food and that doesn't get out. I can shut my mouth around anything and nothing would get out. I could shut my mouth about anything at all, anything you gave me. I could shut my mouth around it and you wouldn't be able to open my jaws and I would never let you go. So two birds flew down and they put a stick on the floor in front of Turtle. And they said, Turtle, shut your mouth around that stick. And so Turtle did. He grabbed the stick between his jaws and he shut his mouth around it. Then, as soon as it was quiet, two of the birds flew down and they picked up the stick and they started to fly up into the air. And they said, now, Turtle, if you keep your mouth shut, we'll teach you how to fly and you can come south to summer with us. And so they flew up and Turtle's neck stretched. And they flew up a bit more and it stretched
they flew up again, and it stretched a bit more until in the end, Turtle's legs left the ground. And Turtle rose into the air with the birds. And he looked down and he said to himself, I'm flying. This is awesome. And he looked down and saw the ground getting further and further away. And as he flew up, he thought to himself, this is great. I'm flying south to summer. And then he thought, oh, but I don't know whether there's any food for turtles where summer is. And he began to worry. He began to think of all the questions he should have thought of before he left the ground. And so he looked up at the birds and he started to try to catch their attention. He started to blink really, really hard because he couldn't open his mouth. He started to blink really, really hard, but of course the birds were so busy flying they didn't hear him. Well, Turtle began to get more and more hungry. And he made the sound, the sign with his fingers of hunger at his lips, and the birds didn't see him. And then he made the sign of cutting across here to show that he was hungry down in his belly. Well, the birds saw him, but they were too busy flying, and they started to laugh among themselves because they thought it was really funny that Turtle was clinging on with so tightly with his jaws. And Turtle got more and more upset, and he thought, why are they laughing? Why are they laughing at me? And he couldn't resist any longer, so he opened his mouth to say, why are you laughing at me? Because as soon as he opened his jaws, he fell. And just before he hit the ground, he had a quick thought, and he turned over onto his back, so he landed on his hard shell. And his hard, smooth shell cracked into all tiny little pieces. And Turtle lay there on his back with his legs in the air, and he looked up at the sky and he thought, that sky dropped me. That sky is so mean, I am never, ever going to fly again. I'm going to stay right here on the ground. And as he lay there and he sniffed, he realized he could smell something. He could smell something good. And what he could smell was mud. And he crawled off into that mud. And he started to scoop it up in his fingers and he threw it over his back so that his shell was all covered in warm, sticky mud. And it held his shell together while it healed. And he crawled further and further and further into that nice, cozy mud. And he thought, I'm never, ever going to fly again. I'm going to stay in this mud. And on that day, turtles discovered that even though they can't fly, they have a very special gift, just like we all have. And their special gift was that they could crawl into the mud and sleep all the way through the winter. So they didn't have to fly south to the wall. And if you don't believe that story, just ask the turtle. And he'll tell you. Or maybe he won't. Because you see, if you talk to a turtle, they don't really say very much. Do they, Rowan? Have you ever talked to that turtle downstairs? Try it and see how much he says. The turtles don't really say very much because a long time ago, turtles learned that sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut. You see, a long time ago, even before Turtle, the world was kind of finished, but the animals were still kind of not finished because the Maker had decided that all of the animals should have a kind of a say in what they look like. They should have a kind of a say in what kind of fur they had, or what kind of feathers they had, or whether they had beaks or horns or tails. And so one day, this little unfinished creature came running through the forest to where the maker was, and the maker turned and said, "So, little one, what is it that you want?" And this little creature, this little unfinished creature said, "Well, I've been looking around this earth, and I've decided that it's a dangerous place. And I've decided that really the best thing, the very best thing to keep safe is to listen. Is to listen and to hear. And so the one thing that I really, really, really like is good ears so that I can hear." And the maker said, "That's a very good choice, little one." He said, "What else do you need?" And the little one said, "Well, when I hear danger, I'd like to be able to run away, to get to safety. So what I'd really like is some long, strong legs so I can run away really, really fast." The maker said, "That too is wise, little one. And what else?" And the little one said, "Well, sometimes you can't run away. Sometimes you have to stand and fight to protect your family and to protect yourself. So I'd like a weapon." "Oh," said the maker, "weapons can be problems. I can't give you a weapon unless I also give you a good brain so that you know when to use it and when not to use it." "Oh, I never thought of that," said the little one. So the maker said, "So you can have your long ears, and you can have your strong legs, and you can have your weapon and your good brain. Is there anything else?" And the little one said, "Well, I've been looking around this world, and what I'd really like is a long, beautiful tail." The maker said, "Why do you want this thing?" And the little one said, "Because it's pretty." The maker said, "Ah, so you've looked round this world that I've made and you've seen that I want it to be beautiful. Very well, you can have your long tail." And so the maker bent over this little one and he worked up the fur on his head and he started to pull out an ear. He pulled it and tugged it and teased it out until he got a long, strong ear. And then he turned to the other side and he pulled one out on that side. So he got two identical, long, strong ears, and he turned them and he turned them so they swivel all different ways and they could hear really well. And that little one will be able to hear when there was any danger anywhere around. And then he turned to the legs. And he reached in front and he pulled out two strong legs from the front of this little creature. And when he pulled them out, he looked at them and he saw that they were good. And so he turned to the back. And he started to pull out two hind legs. And they were really, really strong. But when he looked, he realized that the hind legs were much longer and stronger than the front legs. But the hind legs were very good legs. They were perfect legs. So he decided that he would make the front legs the same as the hind legs. And so he started to pull out the front legs in just the same way. And just as he started, he heard a voice behind him. "What? You've been dealing with that one for too long. Why don't you deal with me? Look, I'm waiting here and I want what I want. And you've been dealing with that one. Why don't you turn around and deal with me? I want red feathers, and I want long, strong wings. I want a long neck like a swan, and I want to fly all the time, day and night. And I want a sweet song to sing." Well, the maker turned and he looked at that one, and he said, "You wait your turn. It's not your turn yet. I'm dealing with this one. This is a special thing. This is a sacred thing. This one is just being made, and you can wait. You shouldn't even be watching. Turn away, don't watch." And then he turned back to this one, but he'd forgotten what he was doing. What was I supposed to? Oh, I know, a weapon. And so he reached inside that little one's mouth and he started to pull out of his gums the long fangs that were going to be this animal's weapon. Pull and pull. He got two really big teeth around for a stone to sharpen them on. And just as he was about to sharpen these teeth into fangs, he heard a voice from behind him. Why don't you come and help me? I've been waiting all this time. I'm sick of waiting. I don't want to wait any longer. Look, I know what I want. I know what I need. I need red feathers, and I want long wings, and I want to be able to fly day and night, and I want a beautiful song to sing. And don't forget the long neck like a swan. Well, the maker turned to him and said, I've told you already. It's not your turn. Now have some respect. It's this one's turn. I'm just in the process of making him, and you can wait. And you need to keep quiet, and you need to think more about what you need and less about what you want. Now be quiet. And he turned back to this one. He'd completely forgotten what he was supposed to be doing. And then he thought, and he looked, and he thought, beauty. So he bent down and he started to make this little one's tail. And he pulled out a little ball of fluff right at the back of this one. And just as he was about to pull it out into this long, strong tail, this beautiful tail, he heard a voice from the tree behind him saying, oh, I've been waiting for so long. And I can't wait any longer. I want my feathers, and I want them now. I want my red feathers, and I want them now. And I want my long neck like a swan, and I want it now. And I want, what else did he want? Can you remember?
Wings.
Oh, I want my long, strong wings, and I want to be able to fly when?
Day and night.
All the time, and I want my beautiful song to sing. Well, this time, the maker lost his temper, because even the maker can be pushed so far that he gets really angry. So he turned on that one and he said, you be quiet. I've heard quite enough from you. And he stalked over to him and he grabbed that little one and he put him on the tree in front of him. And he said, so you want a long, strong neck, do you? And he grabbed that little one's head and he turned it around, all the way around. So, and the shock was so much that little one's eyes went boom. He said, you want a long, strong neck? You're not having a long, strong neck. And he banged that little one on the head, boom, like that with his fist, and so that his head went. He said, and you won't have long, strong wings. You'll have wings, but you won't fly all the time. Oh, no. He said, because if you fly all the time, I work during the day. And I don't want you disturbing me with all your chatter. So you will only be able to fly at night. And as for red feathers, I don't think so. Because if you have red feathers, you'll be far too noticeable. He said, and he bent down. He said, you need to remember that you're just one of the creatures of this Mother Earth. And he picked up mud of all different colours. They're grey and brown and black, and he smeared those different colours all over that creature until that creature was grey and brown and black all over. And he said, and as for flying, and as for that beautiful song that you want, oh no, you'll have a song with one word, and that word will be who? Who? Because I don't want you to forget who it was that did this to you. And so it was that the owl looks as it do today. As for that other little creature, well, he was so frightened by all this that he jumped off his branch. And when he landed on his long hind legs, they were too weak and they bent underneath him. And he hopped away across the prairie because he was so afraid. And so it was that the rabbit never got his long, beautiful tail. And he never got his brain. And so he hops all the time across the prairie, all the time looking over his shoulder, because he never got his brain to see what's dangerous and what isn't. And so that's how the rabbit came to look like he does.
Still ears.
Oh, but he's still got his ears.
The rabbit is still.
He's got long teeth. So he never